Guys, we're just gonna make a couple-part video here, just kind of briefly going over some ideas and some techniques for room clearing that you guys can watch and try to apply on Saturday whenever you guys go to train. Just kind of a couple introductory things before we get going here. A lot of this I said in the group chat already, but the biggest thing about room clearing is if you can avoid room clearing altogether, that's definitely the best idea. No matter how good your technique is, how good your tactics are, like, doesn't matter whether you're fucking SEAL Team 6 or GMR or whoever, entering a room, you're at a disadvantage immediately. The people inside the room have the advantage a lot of the time because you're going in a doorway, and so you have to see the entire room, you have to scan the entire room, control the entire room, versus the people inside the room only have to look at the doorway. That is the only place you can come in from. Again, we're airsoft, we're not doing fucking breaching, we're not coming in through the roof and helicopters and shit, right? We're going in through the door. We call that the fatal funnel, that's where people die. So again, all that to say, if you can avoid clearing a room altogether, that's definitely something you want to do. Again, if you guys run Thunderbees or not flashbangs, but tornadoes or whatever fucking grenade you run, throw those in first. That's all more advanced tactics that we may or may not get into. But yeah, other than that, we're gonna stop this video here. We'll get into the next part and talk a little bit more in depth. So yeah. Okay guys, so we're gonna talk a little bit about the methodology of clearing a room. First and foremost, we're just going to skip everything that leads up to this point, so the approach, all that shit, we're just going to never mind it right now. So we're at the door, we're stacked up, okay? We're also going to assume that we have a team behind us because a two-man clear is very different than a team clear. So right now we're just going to talk about the team clear. So use your imaginations, picture people behind us, okay? Number one man is going to be stacked up on the doorway. He's going to have his gun up because at any point something could come through the doorway. An unsuspecting civilian, or an enemy or whoever, obviously based on the role. Also, he has a small line of sight into a very small sector in the room. If anything steps into that sector, he can deal with the issue if he has his gun up, and so forth. Also, notice that his barrel is not protruding into the doorway, obviously not giving away his position or our position. You can't see it from that angle. We are offset from the wall about 6 to 8 inches or so. You don't want to be glued onto the wall because then you get that gear rubbing on the wall. You can give your position away. Same time, you don't want to be too far off the wall because you expose yourself to a lot of the room. Also, if this were a hallway, you'd be exposed in many ways, okay? Number one man, like I said, gun is up. Number two man is going to be up behind him, very close behind him, okay? Almost touching knee to knee, okay? The squeeze is going to get initiated from the back of the stack. So the last man is going to squeeze is going to come all the way up to me, at which point I will squeeze Nam. Once I give Nam the squeeze, as the number one man, he's going to go into the room and button hook, which means do a complete 180 and head into this corner here, okay? That is the angle that's going to present the most danger because that's the angle that we can't see any of. There's no way we can see into that angle, so that is the most dangerous angle. As the number two man, my job is to take the next most dangerous angle, which is that slight sliver in front of Nam into an angle that he can't see. Once you practice this, you'll know what little angle I'm talking about, but there's an angle in the corner that Nam doesn't have a visual on. So once he takes the hard angle, I'm going to take the next hardest angle, and then the teammates would flow in opposite of the ways we went based on however many teammates we have. Okay? So very, very slowly, the squeeze is going to come up. I'm going to give Nam the squeeze. I'm going to follow him, and as he goes, I'm going to let go of Nam. I'm going to now gain my gun, because at this point, anything could happen. He button hooks. I'm going to be in right behind him as close as I can, clearing this hard angle, okay? At this point, once I can see that the angle is clear, same thing with Nam. Once you see as his angle is clear, he's going to turn and begin to scan the rest of the room, okay? Again, this is a very short room, not ideal, but we would have teammates filing in beside us. Or, in this particular case, we would call short room, and then the rest of our team would know not to pack fucking 15 guys in here, okay? Once we step in, and we've decided that the room is clear, someone is going to say clear, so Nam will say clear, clear. I will answer clear, and then we will give the all clear. Once we've given the all clear, we begin the process of exiting the room. Exiting the room can be just as dangerous as entering the room because we might have teammates out there, the situation may have changed out there, so we need to announce that 2 friendlies are coming out of this room, okay? There's a couple different verbiages to use for coming out, but usually most of the time we'll say 2 friendlies coming out because we are 2 in here. If we were 3, if we were 4, whatever the number would be, that would be the number we say. So 2 friendlies coming out, we would then get the answer from the people out there saying, yup, come on out. At which point, it really doesn't fucking matter who leaves first. Honestly, it's the first person to the door who goes out. At which point, now let's say Nam is the first one to the door. He would turn, face the door, I would stack behind him, and we would exit the room and go whichever way we need to go based on the scenario after that. Okay guys, we're going to talk real quickly about the same process, but if there's a closed door, okay? So again, skipping the whole advancement to the door, to the room, whatever. Again, assuming we have a team behind us. 2-man clears and team clears, like I said, are very different things. So right now we're specifically talking about team clears only, okay? So again, we're at the door, we stacked up at the door. What's going to change here, the squeeze will come up the line, whatever, all that stays the same. Once I feel the squeeze from Nam, what's going to change here is my approach to the door and how we deal with this door, okay? So I get the squeeze from Nam. What I'm going to do is I'm going to very slowly pie the door, essentially, but I'm going to check around the door for booby traps, okay? That doesn't happen a lot in airsoft, but there are events where they rig the doors. So we're looking for any anomalies. If the door is slightly open, that's a red flag. Obviously, if you see any wires or anything, that's a red flag. Stuff like that. Again, you don't want to spend too much time in front of the door because the floor might crack, you might give your shadow away underneath, stuff like that. So I'm going to get the squeeze, I'm going to pie, I'm going to check the door. At this point, I'm going to break my gun down, okay? I'm going to try and expose myself as little as possible, but unfortunately, you do have to step in front of the door unless you have fucking Slender Man's arms, okay? What I'm going to check the door handle, okay? Because if the door handle is open, there's no reason for me to go fucking kicking in this door if I can just turn the door and fucking open it, okay? At like 99% of airsoft fields, the door handle will be unlocked. You'll be good to go. If it's locked, that's a whole other story that could get its own fucking 30-minute video and stuff. But we're not going to talk about that. So I'm going to check the door handle, okay? I'm going to give it a very, very slow turn, and I'm going to hold it here. I'm not going to push the door open yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at Nam, who is now the point man. He is now the number 1 man. Number 1 man is going to get the squeeze all the way up again, or if he's already gotten the squeeze, he's just waiting for me to make eye contact with him. So I'm going to make eye contact with Nam. He's going to give me a nod. I'm going to give him a nod back so that we're both on the same page, that he's ready and that I'm ready. Okay? At this point, again, we're going to do this in slow motion. But at this point, I'm going to open the door. I'm going to try and, again, we're going dynamic with the team. So I'm going to try and open the door all the way so he can see as much information as he can. At which point, I'm going to step back and get the fuck out of his way. At this point, the clear goes exactly the same as if it were the open door. Okay? So at this point, now the door is open. So the point man steps in, he will button hook, the 2-man will go straight into the next hardest angle, and the clear essentially is the exact same from there. Okay? Okay guys, we're going to go into a live demonstration here, full speed or close to full speed. It's been a minute since we've done this, so we might be a little rusty here. But we're going to, like I said, do a full demonstration. First one with the door open, second one with the door closed, assuming we have like a 5-man team behind us or something. So, have a look. Short room, left clear, right clear, all clear, all clear. 5 coming out. Come on out. Go. And reset. Okay. We'll do the same thing again. With the door closed. Again, the clear will look exactly the same, except for the opening the door part. Do you wanna open the door? I can open the door. Yeah. So again, stacking up on the door, 5-man team. I'm gonna give him the squeeze. Now he's gonna cross, open the door, and we're gonna flow in. Just keep in mind that you have to imagine the people behind me, because Nan's actually going to be technically the last person in the room, because it's a team environment. So using a little bit of imagination here. Ready? You step across, gun up, checks the door, check the door handle. It's gonna give you the nod. Give me the nod. Short room. Right clear. Left clear. All clear. All clear. 5-man team coming out. Come on out. Ready? Go. We step out. Short. Short room. Short room. Left clear. Right clear. All clear. All clear. 5 coming out. Come on out. Go. Short room. Right clear. Left clear. All clear. All clear. 5-man team coming out. Come on out. Ready? Step out. We're going to talk about 2-man clears real quick, because I know you guys don't play CQB a lot, but this situation comes up a lot in CQB where there's really just 2 of you and you need to make this shit work with 2 people. So essentially, I'm going to act as the point man here. There's a lot of really technical stuff that goes on here that we'll cover more when you guys come up to train, but more or less this is kind of the general gist of it. I apologize if I fly over some stuff and you kind of didn't really get it, but hopefully you can at least pick up a little bit to have an idea. So essentially we're going to stack up on the door as per normal. Again, I have my gun up because I can see this little sliver here, okay? Just, again, 2-man team, so Nam's the one that's going to initiate the squeeze. So I'm going to get the squeeze from Nam, okay? Now instead of going to enter the door right away, this is going to be very, very different. I'm going to switch my hips. So I'm a righty and I shoot righty, so my right foot is actually going to be in front. This is going to allow me to expose myself the least as possible. At this point, I'm going to pie the door, okay? I'm going to do it as fast but as controlled as I can. I'm going to get to about the 50% line of the room, at which point I'm going to shift my hips. So that's a very sports analogy, but I'm going to open up my hips so I can move that direction to the other side of the door as fast as possible while clearing the other 50%. So it's going to look like this. Again, I'm going to get back, I know you can't see anymore, but I'm going to get back as far as I can so my barrel is not intruding into the doorway, at which point, now that I'm going to make eye contact, he's going to give me the nod, I'm going to give him the nod, because I'm the person who pied the door, I'm going to step in first. Now, contrary to the team clear, we're going to cross each other as we go in, so I'm not going to button hook. I'm going to cross because I have a visual on this angle, so that is the most pressing angle for me, and for him, that is the most pressing angle for him because anything could happen. For me, what happens on the other side of this doesn't matter because that's his job. And for him, what happens on the other side there doesn't matter because it's my job. So that's why we're going to cross and deal with those problems because that's what we can see. There's no sense in me turning this corner blindly when he has a visual on most of that corner, okay? Again, very different than the team clear, but 2 different methodologies, 2 different SOPs. It is what it is. So if we back up a little bit, I'm here. Now he's going to give me the nod. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break down my gun because I want to make my silhouette as small as possible, okay? I'm going to step in, and the key here is that he needs to be almost hitting me as I step in the door. That's how close together we need to be because my back is going to be exposed to a lot of this room, and I want to make sure that my back is exposed as little as possible, right? So as soon as I'm stepping in, he's right behind me. I'm stepping in, clearing this corner. He's clearing that corner. And at this point, the clear is exactly the same, okay? So we clear what we have to clear, okay? I'll call out left clear. He'll call right clear, all clear, and we will exit the room as per normal. Okay, guys. 2-man clear with a shut door. This is getting very, very technical here, so don't worry if you're kind of lost at this point. It's a lot of information. We'll cover a lot of this when you guys come up to train, okay? Like I said, 2-man clear when the door is closed. It's very actually similar to the 2-man clear with an open door, except you add the process of opening the door. And that is the exact same thing as when we did the team clear with opening the door with one little minor change that I'll explain. So like I said, again, stacked up on this door, making sure that I'm not exposing myself into the doorway. I'm going to get the squeeze from Nam. I'm going to bring the gun down. I'm going to cross, checking the door for booby traps, for any anomalies, anything like that. Okay? I'm going to cross to this side of the doorway. This is where it gets different. Well, actually, it stays the same here. I'm going to lean forward. I'm going to get the doorknob. I'm going to turn it. I'm going to look at Nam. This is where it actually gets different. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to get the nod from Nam. I'm going to open the door, but I'm going to step back, okay? And Nam is not going to enter the doorway right away. What we're going to do is I'm going to open this, and I got to kind of like do this quickly here because I'm like in front of the door, exposed as soon as I open this door. I'm going to open the door, I'm going to step back, get out of the way. We're going to pause here for a decent amount of time, like 2 seconds maybe, because 2 seconds is a long time in a firefight. We're going to pause here and wait for anything. If they start fucking blasting through the door, obviously we're not going to step in the room. If we see grenade roll out, obviously we're not going to step in the room. If we see people running around doing shit, we might reconsider, okay? Because we had no prior information because the door was closed. So this 2 seconds here is allowing us to gather information on what's inside the room and then make an executive decision, yes, we're clearing the room, or fuck that, we're not clearing the room, okay? Let's assume that we make the decision to clear the room. We both step back. At this point, it's the exact same as a 2-man clear. Now I'm going to give you the nod. I'm going to give the nod because I pied and I opened the door. I'm going to be the first into the room. I'm going to break down. I'm going to step in the room. Now I'm just going to be right on my ass. Okay. We're going to clear our corners as per usual. Left clear, right clear, all clear. 2-man coming out. Well, actually, if we're a 2-man team, we're probably alone. So we're probably not announcing that we're coming out, but that is all situational. But yeah. A demonstration of the 2-man clear with an open door, and then same as the team clear, we'll close the door, do the same thing. We'll do like 80% speed, so a decent speed here. Ready? Switch the feet, pie to about 50%. Let's go the rest of the way. Now, get the nod. In we. Left clear, right clear, all clear, all clear. Yeah. Ready? Yep. Check. Side to go. Right clear. Left clear. All clear. All clear. Okay. Switch the feet. Pie to about 50%. Let's go the rest of the way. Now, nod. In we go. Left clear. Right clear. All clear. All clear. And out we come. Check. Side to go. We go. Right clear. Left clear. All clear. All clear. Okay, so before we stop the tape right there, one thing I noticed when I opened the door didn't swing open all the way. That's something that happens. Some doors are weird, the hinges are weird, some want to shut, some want to open, some don't want to go at all. Whatever. Adapt and overcome. You saw I pushed the door open. I could have left it and let Nam deal with it, but I figured I'd do it myself. One thing I will point out though is I used my off hand to push it open. I didn't take my trigger hand off to push the door open. So if I had to, I pushed open this door, so I could have not hit fired, but I could have gotten shots off if I had to. That is one thing to keep in mind. Generally speaking, you want to keep your trigger hand on the gun basically all the time. Yeah. Just talked about clearing some rooms, team clears, 2-man clears, open doors, closed doors, all that stuff. It's a lot of information, first of all, and there's a lot of information that I didn't mention that is important to know. But again, everything is very, very situational. You start to throw any kind of variables into this process and the whole thing changes. So this is only skimming the very, very top layer of the iceberg, per se, when it comes to room clearing. So take everything here I say with, not with a grain of salt, but just if there's holes of information that you don't understand, don't be alarmed by it, because there's a lot of stuff, like I said, that I omitted that we'll talk about when you guys come up to train. One thing off the top of my head is dynamic versus non-dynamic entries. We talked here solely about dynamic entries. We didn't talk about nighttime darkness entries, if we're trying to do this quietly, all that stuff, especially at nighttime when it comes to white light, using it versus not using it, all that stuff. Again, the more variables we throw in there, the more complex it gets. So hope this is useful for you guys. Really looking forward to training with you guys. We're looking forward to playing with you guys at Crossfire, and hopefully we'll see you all soon.